Hi. On the other films I've been talking about out-of-body experience, but I don't really know what that means because what I've been talking about is an inner body experience. I think we say the outer body experience when we're unsure of what we're saying because it's something that we can't equate to. It's not something that happens, is it? I'm sure we all touch from time to time a deja vu moment, and I'd put it more in the deja vu category. But what about if you had a deja vu moment that lasted and lasted and lasted? Those who've seen the film Groundhog Day, a very unusual film, but makes you think about how each day he knew what was coming in the end, so he could replan what he could do with it. And it's a little bit like, so far I've been talking about out-of-body experiences and warm air becoming part of you, and being in the theatre and sensing that no one else was there, and I was immersed in a warmth, a love that you just don't feel it in this normal world. You don't feel it in this human environment. Perhaps it gets tangled up with all the problems that people as humans have. Anybody who discovers nature to a depth where nature is so important because they realise that they are part of nature, no more, no less. And the less you disturb nature, the more it will benefit you. If you're kind to the planet, then I believe the planet will be kind to you. Yes, people say to me, but what about the past wrongs that you've done? Perhaps that's why you're being punished now with, arthritis and illness and, all the things that people get, not necessarily when they're old. Perhaps they're past things that you're now having to pay for. Well, I suppose we could always say that, couldn't we? But all I know is the kinder we are to our planet as an individual, the less it appears to harm us. Well, that's my experience, and I can only tell you about my experience. Of course, I can't tell you about your experience, can I? Or anyone else's. I don't know what's inside your head. I don't know what makes you tick. I don't even know if I know what makes myself tick. Do you? Anyhow, I'd like to talk about enlightenment again. I was talking to the people who are on my Patreon site about what it was like to be enlightened. And I said at the time when it came over me, my greatest enlightenment was on a trip following Mother Mira in Frankfurt in Germany, where she's outside Frankfurt. That's where you fly into. Anyhow, I had this out-of-body experience again, what was my inner body, and for 2 weeks the most unusual thing happened. I could hear people talking across the street, even if they were whispering. I could still hear them. I don't know how. Night was as bright as day, so I didn't need a torch. Yes, the stars might have been out, I don't know. But there didn't seem to be any change in the density of light to my eyes. Perhaps I'd gone mad, who knows, for 2 weeks. A woman had 2 children, and I was walking along the path in Cambridge, and she scolded one of them, and it was as if my body had been scolded, and it really hurt, not in a physical sense, but my emotions were really hurt with this. I realised then that my senses that I'd never had on such a high attunement before were working overtime. I think I felt at the time as if I couldn't stop smiling. It was as if there was a love pouring out of me. Was it Tony's love? I don't know. I really don't know. All it was a love greater than what a human being can give to another human being. But the love was so great, pouring out, that it was almost pouring out to everyone and everything, every item. It was a great feeling. I couldn't really talk to people about it at the time because I didn't know what was happening to me. Was I going mad? I don't know. It's just time wasn't of an essence. I missed a plane, a train. I missed all sorts of things because time seems to not matter. And when I looked at my watch, I don't know even if I was seeing time. All I know was when I arrived at the different destinations, I was told the plane had gone. Then I got on the wrong train, but it didn't matter. Nothing seemed to matter. So for 2 weeks I was in a complete confused state, but happy. But I watched the world, humans, within this period, those around me, because that's all you can do. And I went to Cambridge City. I live in the country, so it was an act that I had to still run my business, go into the city and act normal. So I don't know whether I was acting normal to others, but I was trying to, we'll say, fake being normal and trying to suppress the joy, but not wishing to suppress the joy that I had within me. But what I had time to do is I had time to think, well, look, you've got a business you're running. You've got staff that rely on you. I do martial arts. I do yoga. I have a family to bring up. And it came to me that you've got to make a decision, Tony, I thought. The world you're living in mentally and physically, really, at this moment in these 2 weeks, would it fit into the world that you had 2 weeks before you was enlightened? And I realised then that I couldn't keep the world of enlightenment within me because I didn't know that place. I don't have any friends in that place. I don't have a family in that place. My work has to be quick thinking. My business had to be quick thinking. I employed staff who would have problems and you had to sort that out. I had turnover of millions of pounds that had to be considered. It's no good being what I call flake-headed or have an airhead on you when you have to make big decisions. So I decided then that the world I knew was the one this lifetime I must stay in, because the enlightened world I wasn't ready for, I wasn't equipped for. I think if you're a Buddhist monk or anybody in religion that starts off young enough and you hone yourself to that way of thinking, to that lifetime of understanding, make it your life's work, then I think you can slowly prepare yourself. And then if you do become lucky enough to be enlightened, then you can adapt to it. I couldn't adapt to it after making a lifetime of friends, work, business, family life. There was too many obstacles in my way to just, we'll say, go and sit on a mountain and be happy ever after. I couldn't just dress up in a monk's robe or simple clothes, a blanket, and become a good person to help those in need. The transformation was far too great, and to me an impossible bridge to walk across. However, going back to my Aikido world and my yoga, meditation, tai chi life, because I had those within we'll say, the normal workings of my life, I could take an element of the understanding while being enlightened. I could take this element back with me. So, as I said in the other film about the cork draining me, this time it didn't drain, the warmth kept inside me. And I touch wood, as we say in England, hoping that will help us. It stayed with me. And so when I do my Aikido now, or anything, I do it with the joy and the love and the warmth that I got from that experience. I also feel great comfort in knowing that my master, Saito Sensei, he taught me well because he gave me the technical apparatus to allow the techniques to work. So if you've got the technical path correct, blend it with a good understanding and a giving of love to everything in the universe, and to not wish harm to others. Don't get me wrong, I'm a human being. I'm judgmental and I try not to be, and I have many bad faults. I'm not going to be the best Aikidoka in the world, far from it. There's some superb people out there. I'm not one of them. I would have liked to have been, but I'm not. But I'm just telling you the experience that I am grateful that I received. To me, I brought the enlightenment part back into a human being's life. So when I do now move on the mat or carry out my Aikido techniques, I'm allowed to do it with the love and joy of not clashing. Because you see, if you have it correctly, to me, you cannot clash with something because the pathway is always of harmony. And you find that you can't clash with something if you have no desire to clash with it, but you're happy to go with it. If the river bends, then bend and enjoy the flow. Try not to clash with anything and I hope that we will have a smoother path for the rest of our life. I hope this has made some sense. If not, I hope it's been worth just listening to my story, and I hope that all of you find this path of just not harming the planet any more than you have to. And hopefully it will still be here when we're not. Thank you for listening.